that it's time for Oregon to get serious about emergency planning. Very serious about emergency planning. And out here at the coast, I think we're doing better than most of Oregon is. We are educating our kids in our schools. We're putting together our Go Kids. We are publishing evacuation routes and painting blue lines on the sidewalk, and we're building state-of-the-art structures designed to withstand a major earthquake and a major tsunami to follow. But at the same time, I believe that most of Oregon is blithely indifferent to the personal risk when a 9.0 hits Oregon, and our policies are 30 years out of date. Now here's one example. In California, in the inundation zone, they build according to the newest and evolving building code standards in California. And in Washington, they have building code standards within the inundation zone. In Hawaii and Alaska, they have building code standards. But here in Oregon, we say, don't build anything. We say, don't build anything. And as we dug into that issue a little deeper, we learned that there was more to it than that. Because we, at the Coastal Caucus one morning, were presented with documents saying, you know, if you want to retrofit your hospital or your police station or your schools or your fire department, there are state grants available. And we Googled those state grants only to find out, it says in bold print, not available in the inundation zone. Now let me say that another way, Congressman. If I want to retrofit and beef up a school gymnasium in Corvallis, the state will give me $2.5 million to help do that. If I want to move a school out of the inundation zone here at the coast, I can't apply for the money. That's wrong. And we need to change that. And so we took some steps to begin changing that, and the first thing we did is we passed legislation overwhelmingly in both houses that eliminated the 30-year-old prohibition on building within the inundation zone. And you're right, it got national attention. I was written up in New Yorker magazine. My wife was very proud. Why does Dave Gomberg want to kill coastal kids? And the answer is, we don't want to build new schools in the inundation zone, but we want local communities to have some flexibility to examine these questions. Because we know that the blue line is not a firm, safe standard, alive on one side and dead on the other. We know that these lines change with new science and new investigation. The lines are shifting, and we've got communities that have spent millions of dollars to move a fire station out of the inundation zone, only to find out that the inundation zone has moved once again, and the station is back inside the inundation zone. So what do we do about that? Well, the first thing is we took away the prohibition and give local communities more flexibility. The next step is going to be that we're going to adopt the same kind of building code standards that other states are using, so we can use the latest science and the latest information to move forward. There's a great example of this in my district in Newport, where Oregon State University is building the Marine Science Building according to the newest, most emerging, forward-thinking standards, a world-class example of how we can create a safe harbor within the inundation zone. A lot of controversy, a lot of conversation about that. I think it's a conversation worth having. But there are additional steps that we need to take. It's not just about drawing lines on the pavement, deciding what buildings go on one side and what buildings go on the other. As all of you know, the further that we move our fire stations and our police stations from our population centers and our commercial centers, and oh, by the way, our low-income residential clusters, the longer it's going to take for somebody to respond to a 911 call before that major earthquake occurs. And those are community concerns as well. And as I often say, how do you sell your house in a neighborhood that's too dangerous for a police station? How does it affect your ability to get insurance? How does it affect your resale value and your plans for the future? This has to be part of the conversation as well. But at the end of the day, we need to update our state thinking about emergency planning. And that not only involves building codes within the inundation zone, it's how we teach our kids and prepare our families, and how we structure our businesses, and how we educate the visitors that come out here to the coast. And at the end of the day, I look at our statewide planning goals. And our statewide planning goals, I think it's goal 7 that talks about emergency planning, says we are not allowed to build anything in Oregon within the earthquake zone. Look it up. That's what I'm talking about when I say it's time to get serious, because our standards are 30 years out of date. We can do better than that, and we must do better than that.
I don't know how much